Well, in the previous video, I could tell you about the F1 generation where we found that the 4 plants which were obtained, they were in heterozygous condition. Why? Because we find here 2 types of chromosomes. That is one capital T and one small t, which shows the combination of the tall variety and the dwarf variety. So, similarly, 2 plants from this generation they were taken and they were made self-fertilization. So, the gametes now obtained from them were of 2 different varieties. One is a tall variety, another one is a dwarf variety. So, the gametes were again, you can see here, capital T, small t, capital T, small t. Now, these 4 were also again made to cross with one another, similarly like the one which I showed you in the previous step. So, for this, we can perform it in one square, which is termed as the Punnett square, or it is also called checkers board. Why? Because we are arranging these gametes in this way, where this gametes represent the male gametes and this represents the female gametes. So here in the male gamete we can see one capital T with one small t, and here the female gametes also we can see one capital T and one small t. And what is the result? We find we get a mixture of different types of plants. We get pure variety tall, we get pure variety dwarf as we had seen in the 2 parents. And also we get a combined 2 varieties of the F1 generation plants, which was no more a pure variety but it was called one hybrid variety. Hybrid why? Because it contains both the genes of the tall variety and the dwarf variety. Yes, then next coming to the phenotype and genotype of the plants. Now in the F1 generation we found all having the combined state of both capital T and small t, and they were all found to be hybrid. Hybrid in what sense? Because of presence of 2 different types of gene. But if you see the phenotype which explains the visible character, we find that all the 4 plants were tall, whereas in F2 generation we find 3 plants are tall and only 1 is dwarf. So the phenotype ratio is 3:1, which represents 3 tall and 1 dwarf. Whereas the genotype shows 1:2:1, which means 1 pure variety tall, 2 hybrid variety tall and 1 pure variety dwarf. So there is a change in the genotype ratio and the phenotype ratio at the end of the F2 generation. So from this we can come to the conclusion of the monohybrid cross, that is the law of segregation, which I will explain to you in the next class. Thank you.